Story 7. In the urban heart of the city, shadowed by looming skyscrapers and hidden within neglected alleyways, stood an old, abandoned theater. This relic from a forgotten age bore the marks of time on its once grand facade. For decades, its grand doors had stayed shut, its corridors silent, and its stage untouched, serving as a ghostly reminder of a vibrant past now lost. One particular night, driven by a mix of rumor and intrigue, I found myself drawn to this derelict structure. Whispers had reached me of a mysterious midnight concert performed by a lone musician, his violin echoing through the darkness in a haunting solo performance. Compelled by the thought of such an eerie spectacle, I approached the crumbling entrance of the theater, where the air was thick with the musty smell of decay, subtly mingled with the distant strains of a violin. As I stepped inside, darkness enveloped me, pierced only by the occasional sliver of moonlight streaming through the shattered windows above. Drawn by the melancholic sounds, I ventured deeper into the theater, each step guided by the increasing volume of the sorrowful melody that seemed to resonate with the very strings of my soul. Finally, I reached the stage. There, in a pool of moonlight, stood a solitary figure. His back was to me, his body swaying slightly as his fingers danced with supernatural finesse across the strings of his violin. The music that filled the hall was a lament, each note reverberating off the decaying walls, filling the space with a sound that was both beautiful and tragic. Engrossed, I watched as the violinist's intensity grew, his movements becoming more passionate and desperate. Suddenly, the melody was cut short by his sharp cry of pain. To my horror, I saw blood begin to drip from his fingers onto the white strings of his violin, the red stark against the purity of the instrument. In that moment, I realized the grim reality of the concert. This was no ordinary musical performance. The musician was not simply playing the violin, he was sacrificing himself to it. With each note drawn from the blood-stained strings, his screams mingled with the melody, creating a chilling symphony of agony and artistry. Terrified, I turned to flee, only to find that the doors through which I had entered were now immovably sealed. Their iron hinges moaned under my frantic pulls, trapping me inside with the tormented musician and his cursed instrument. The music resumed, louder and more compelling than before. Its melody seemed to weave a hypnotic spell around me, pulling me deeper into the theater's dark heart. Desperately, I searched for another exit, my heart racing, but found none. The theater was a labyrinth designed to keep its secrets. Just as despair threatened to take hold, a voice cut through the darkness. It was the violinist, his tone laden with sorrow and a touch of insanity. He pleaded for release from the curse that chained him to his relentless performance. Moved by his plea, I approached him with a mixture of fear and resolve. As I drew closer, I could see the madness and fear in his eyes. Trembling, I reached out and gently touched the violin, loosening its bloodied strings. As I did, the haunting melody that had filled the theater faded into a heavy silence. The curse was lifted, freeing the musician's soul from its eternal torment. With the breaking of the curse, the oppressive atmosphere of the theater began to lift. As dawn's first light filtered through the broken windows, I made my way out of the theater, the weight of the night's horrors heavy on my shoulders. Stepping back into the waking world, the memory of the haunted melody and the violinist's liberation haunted me. Though I had escaped the physical confines of the theater, the experience lingered in my mind, a haunting reminder of the night when music bridged the gap between beauty and horror, ensnaring and freeing a soul in its notes. This encounter was a profound testament to the dual nature of art, its power to both captivate and consume. As I emerged into the morning light, the chilling events of the night replayed in my mind like a haunting refrain. The abandoned theater, with its crumbling walls and shadowed corridors, had become an arena for a spectral concert that tested the limits of reality. As I walked away, the echoes of the violin's sorrowful melody lingered in the air, a ghostly soundtrack that seemed to follow me through the quiet streets. Turning back for a moment, I gazed at the theater's facade. It stood there, stoic and silent in the dawn light, its secrets once again hidden behind aged brick and broken panes. I wondered about the fate of the cursed violinist before my intervention. How many moonlit nights had he filled with his mournful music? How many had stood where I stood, entranced and horrified, unable to aid him? This experience had not only revealed the depths of despair that the violinist endured, but also the profound connection between artist and instrument, a bond so intense that it had the power to transcend the ordinary limits of existence. As the city around me slowly awakened, I felt a change within myself, a deepened understanding of the thin veil between sorrow and beauty, and the eternal human struggle to express what lies in our souls through art. The haunting memory of the violin's lament would forever remind me of the night when music became both a prison and a key to liberation. Story 8. As I ventured into the abandoned carnival grounds, the air was thick with fog, wrapping everything in a silent, spectral shroud. The dim, flickering lights of dormant rides and attractions cast eerie, distorted shadows that danced like phantoms across the landscape, whispering secrets lost to the night. Despite the chill that crept into my bones, I felt an undeniable pull toward the mysterious carnival, drawn by the thrill of unknown adventures that awaited. With each step, my footfalls echoed across the desolate space, their sounds bouncing off the canvas of idle tents and towering, silent rides. The sweet scents of popcorn and cotton candy still lingered in the air, a haunting reminder of the laughter and joy that once filled the carnival. Yet beneath this nostalgic sweetness, a darker undertone festered, a foreboding sensation that made my skin crawl with anticipation and unease. Navigating through the foggy, deserted grounds, I felt the tendrils of mist curl around me like the cold fingers of a ghost, its unseen eyes tracking my every movement, adding weight to my soul as I delved deeper into the labyrinth of abandoned attractions. Turning a corner, I stumbled upon a peculiar tent, its fabric shimmering and shifting under the moonlight as if breathing a life of its own. The entrance, intriguing yet ominous, seemed to beckon me to step inside. With my heart pounding from a cocktail of curiosity and fear, I moved forward and crossed the threshold into the enveloping darkness beyond. Inside, the tent was illuminated by an unsettling blue glow that cast bizarre shadows on its walls, which were adorned with cryptic symbols and ancient glyphs. The atmosphere buzzed with a tangible energy that tingled across my skin, heightening my senses as I proceeded toward the center of the room. There, a shadowy figure awaited, a mysterious entity cloaked in darkness, its features barely discernible. As it beckoned with a skeletal hand, a deep-rooted dread unfurled within me, yet I felt compelled to approach, drawn by the gravity of its presence. "Welcome," the figure whispered, its voice a chilling echo that reverberated through the space. "Welcome to the cryptic carnival, where the secrets of the cosmos are unveiled to those daring enough to discover them." I attempted to speak, to voice my questions, but found myself choked by the overwhelming air of the tent. The figure's penetrating gaze felt as if it pierced through to my very soul, reading my deepest fears and curiosities with an unsettling clarity. As it spoke, the words wove a dark tapestry of mystery and foreboding, holding me captive with tales of forbidden knowledge and unearthly truths. The darkness around me seemed to pulsate with a malevolent life of its own, tightening its grip as the secrets unfolded into more horrifying revelations than I could have ever imagined. Overwhelmed by fear and the urge to flee, I snapped out of my trance and turned towards the entrance, only to find it had vanished, erased by the encroaching shadows that now sealed me inside. Desperation surged through me as I realized my escape was cut off, trapping me within the cryptic carnival's grasp. Frantically, I searched for any exit, any escape from the nightmare that had ensnared me. The tent seemed to expand and contract with each passing second, its walls pulsing with a sinister life. I was caught in a web of darkness, a prisoner of the cryptic carnival that had lured me with its mysteries. As I spiraled deeper into despair, the figure's echoing words continued to haunt me, hinting at truths too terrible for the mortal mind to bear. The carnival, a place where reality blurred into nightmares, held me captive in its enigmatic clutches. Resigned to my fate, I realized that I had only scratched the surface of the profound and terrifying secrets that lay hidden within this eerie place. The line between what was real and what was a product of the darkest corners of imagination became indistinguishable. Trapped within the cryptic carnival, I understood that some mysteries were never meant to be uncovered, and some places were better left unexplored. Story 9. In the faint glow of the attic light, I stumbled upon an eerie mask hidden among a collection of neglected treasures and time-worn relics. Its visage was disturbing, a grin warped into a grotesque expression, with hollow, vacant eyes that seemed to stare into the abyss. Despite its foreboding appearance, the mask exuded a peculiar allure, pulsating with an eerie energy that hinted at dark secrets buried deep within. My curiosity piqued yet tinged with apprehension. I cautiously reached out, tracing my fingers along its cold, rough texture. The mask felt unnaturally heavy, as if imbued with the darkness of ages past. A voice of reason within me urged caution, advising me to return the mask to its forgotten pile and retreat. However, a whisper in the depths of my mind enticed me to don the mask, to delve into the mysteries it might reveal. With a blend of fear and exhilaration, I placed the mask over my face. It felt icy against my skin, and initially, nothing changed. The attic remained quiet, save for the soft creaking of the old floorboards. But slowly, a transformation began. A dark force seemed to awaken within me, flooding my veins with a chilling, shadowy presence. The shadows around me began to twist and morph, forming sinister shapes that mocked me from the walls. The air thickened with a decayed stench, overwhelming me, as if the essence of death itself permeated the attic. In a panic, I attempted to remove the mask, but it clung to me stubbornly, as if fused to my face. Horror washed over me as I caught my reflection in a dusty old mirror. My features were merging with those of the mask, distorting into a visage of evil and madness, with eyes aflame with insatiable malice. Then, the mask whispered in a guttural, menacing tone, "You are mine now, bound to me for eternity." I tried to scream, to beg for release from this waking nightmare, but my cries were muffled by the oppressive silence of the attic. Resigned to my grim fate, I understood that I was now a captive of the malevolent spirit within the mask, doomed to remain in its sinister grasp indefinitely. The weight of the mask bore down on my spirit, suffocating me more with each passing moment. Despite my struggles against its malevolent influence, the mask's power twisted my thoughts and blurred the line between reality and the nightmarish visions it conjured. As I navigated the cluttered attic, my actions no longer felt like my own. It was as though I was a puppet manipulated by an unseen force, compelled to interact with the grim artifacts scattered around me. The mask's hunger for darkness seemed unending, pushing me towards increasingly depraved actions. Compelled by a dark force, I found myself drawn to a previously unnoticed door in the attic, shrouded in shadows. It felt like a portal to another realm, hidden and sinister. Descending into the depths below, the mask's laughter echoed ominously, resonating like a death knell in my ears. The further I went, the colder the air became, and the walls seemed to pulsate with a malevolent force that intensified the chill in my bones. I emerged into a chamber illuminated by a ghastly green light. It was lined with shelves filled with ancient books and forbidden artifacts, a sanctuary for dark arts, where the boundary between the living and the dead was perilously thin, and where the mask's power was most potent. As the mask's influence seeped deeper into my being, I felt an overwhelming sense of doom. Yet, amidst the encroaching darkness, a spark of defiance still flickered within me. Refusing to succumb entirely to the mask's desires, I gathered my remaining will. With a desperate burst of energy, I ripped the mask off, throwing it to the ground with all my might. Silence fell, punctuated only by my heavy breathing and the rapid beating of my heart. Gradually, the darkness began to withdraw, loosening its hold as the mask lay discarded on the cold, hard floor. Shaken and exhausted, I retreated from the chamber, the mask's presence receding, but its echo still resonating in my mind. Although I had escaped its immediate grasp, the experience left a lasting imprint on my psyche. The mask's shadow lingered like a specter over my every moment, a constant reminder of the darkness that had once consumed me and could again.